before we move on to other game modes, and it's very easy to see a Rogue upset happening. This is a very close game, so Rogue have, I think, got to take it though if they're going to have a chance in this series, because beating Daniel in 1v1 will be a much taller order.
Yeah, Daniel is just the ace up the sleeve for Space Station this entire tournament, and they've got significantly strong players for every single type of format that we've got, and a team that's not short of confidence either, as we do see Arsenal trying to take it off the pinch off the wall. For those of you just joining us, we are running a crew battle format for this. If you've not seen it before, we start with threes. Next game will be selected by the loser of this one, and it will be a twos or a ones match, and then the game after that will be whichever format we have not played just yet. And then we just head into game 4 and 5, should we need them, where the next game will be, again, selected by the loser and cannot be the previous game played. That is saved, and blushes are spared by the defense.
This is already reminiscent of the LA Major, which just happened in 3v3. Daniel whiffing an overhead clear, saved by Arsenal. Oh, what a pass. That is unbelievable. The mind game from Gyro doesn't go past Arsenal as well, but
I'm upset.
What a pass from Aqua initially there to get the setup.
Look, I understand it's really good money for charity, but when a play's that good, you kind of just let it in, you know.
Well, it's for the LAN though, Shogun. I mean, if you win this, you're in the LAN.
It is, but that goal was for the banter. Like, equal measure over here as we do get ourselves back into that defense, and not the best clear. Puts Daniel straight back into offense. Already see, this is what I have been enjoying. A lot of speculation currently happening over in the chat. Everyone wondering who gets sent, who would play Daniel, can they even beat Daniel?
I think they need
I'm all for it.
They need Aqua to play against Daniel. There are certain players, or I think it's an interesting one for Rogue, because they do have two very different 1v1 players. Taroko is a very methodical, very positional, decision-making based 1v1 player. Aqua is very mechanical. So how do you beat Daniel? Do you beat him by making decisions and by waiting for him to make a mistake? I don't think so. I think you need to throw mechanics at him to at least have a chance.
Any other day,
matchups, it could be Taroko.
Any other day, I'd completely agree with you, but did you see some of those goals he was conceding earlier on, mate?
That's true, it's true. But I think even with that, I mean, Daniel still got the job done. Even when he was playing that badly and missing open nets and messing up his recovery sometimes, even with all that, he's still got a win against a very impressive Flitz in the previous round. So it's really difficult for me to see somebody with the Taroko's playstyle being a difficult match for Daniel, whereas Aqua, yeah, I could see him popping off in one game and being a problem. So I think they've really got to go for Aqua if they do want to have a chance against Daniel.
We do see now Aqua taking the ball past and proving exactly why he might be that player.
Okay.
Took on 2, beat 2, and sets up Taroko for the score.
Aqua just doing everything here. Outplays 1, crushes the 50-50 with the last man, and Taroko reliable as ever there for the finishing touch. And a must-win 3v3 for Rogue is currently winning for Rogue. Just 2 minutes to go.
And have Aqua once again just a little bit late to realize that he needed to take the ball on. Now Rettles off the backboard. Well, feinted there. Aqua just trying to prove that he might move in. Instead, dove straight towards the backboard again. That 1-goal lead looking pretty fancy at the moment. Minute and a half left, but mispositioned. A demo attempted by Rettles. And Cole was talking about it earlier on, how they're just so active all the time. That's exactly why.
And Daniel getting a nice little flick over the top of Aqua there. That could be something we see later on in the series, a whole bunch more. And this is also, you know, we talk about how much it's a must-win game for Rogue in the 3v3, but looking at their 2v2 record in the previous round, they went 2-0 in that matchup out of the 5 games they played. Oh dear, Aqua out of position and completely unable to recover to block Daniel's shot. That puts SSG up 2-1.
Yeah, Aqua had the argument with the post, and as always, the post always wins. Just, he didn't even move. He knew it was already done. So Daniel and Aqua are both the players that have been on the scoreboard, but Daniel currently getting the better of that encounter, an encounter that we might see plenty of throughout this series. Aqua against the 2v1, and Arsenal has fluffed his lines. It looked like there was a very good opportunity to try and make that a 3-1 situation, but instead couldn't put it in.
Yeah, certainly, and this is still a good position for SSG, but They can't be throwing away chances like that. That was something we didn't really see from them in their opening match of the day. They were clinical. They're going to be clinical here, surely, as the demo comes through. Daniel opening up the door for Arsenal, who snuck through before Taroko could close it.
Yeah, bang. As always, it is off-the-ball plays that are working so significantly well for Space Station Gaming. Your head has to be on a swivel up against these guys, otherwise you are going to get wiped off the field. Now, Rettles, who has been maybe the only player that we haven't spoken about on the Space Station side, he's been relatively quiet. Trying to find an opportunity for himself. Daniel, oh my, that is an insane angle to get that shot from.
Even with a player like Daniel, it's tough to be ready for something like this. Taroko is up, but gets dusted, and he couldn't afford to wait that long before getting goal side there. Just needed any touch because Daniel's too fast, too accurate, and now Space Station have opened up an, I think, irrecoverable position.
Oh, off the backboard, and yeah, Aqua is going to get rid of it, but I do agree with you. 3 goals at this level should not be dropped, no matter how good Rogue might play. Although Gyro, he's making it a little bit entertaining for us. By the way, I opened up our secondary stream, and the first thing I saw was the words Flitz Wow in all caps. So good to see that he's still carrying that form over in that lower bracket match. If you do want to go and check that out, be sure to just head over. It's pretty much copy and paste the current URL that we have, add a B at the end, and you can go and see the lower bracket between All Mid and X-Set, as this game is very much over. And expecting to see 2s coming out of this one, Johnny?
Certainly. I think we will see, well, of course, we'll see 1v1 regardless, but I think Rogue have got to pick the 2v2, just like All Mid did against SSG. You need to get one on the board. You've got to keep the pressure on. Just, you know, throwing a curveball at them by picking 1v1. What's the point? You don't get any mind game victories there. Nobody thinks it's funny. Everybody's just going to know that that's a silly idea. So 2v2, they've won both of their 2v2s in the previous round. It was Aqua and Gyro that played in both games. I would expect that to be the case again. And for SSG, we're expecting it to be Daniel and Rettles, as they are also winners from the previous round when 2v2 is played.
Yes, Arsenal has now completed 10 whole minutes of his tournament today. And he's
imagine that 10 minutes that he's going to LAN.
You wouldn't argue against it, but the worst part is I feel like this is the format I would least want to team with Rettles with, because he'll make sure that you're aware that you already played for 10 minutes and you still got to...
Arsenal will tweet this. He's ready. He's probably just sitting back in the chair, reclining to the maximum and thinking, carry me, boys. Just win the 2v2, and then from there...
It's in their ears, even during the ones. Oh, that was a bad miss. You don't want to be doing that. And we have got the confirmation through. 2s will be the next matchup. So, yeah, Rogue need to continue that good form that they had. 2-0. Both these teams coming in undefeated at 2s for our upcoming matchup. And also not really expecting too many surprises when it comes to overall... The players being thrown in there, I think is the words I'm looking for, so we will see. But in an all-important matchup right now, Rogue have to win this, because otherwise you are facing the Demon Daniel up in that 3rd game.
Yeah, from this point onwards, they need to win this 2v2. Then we're going to see 1v1. They don't necessarily have to win that one, but they're going to have to win it at some point, because I really think that will be Space Station's ace in the sleeve if we go to Game 5 in the series. Space Station are going to be picking ones. So if they don't win it in the Game 3, they'll have to win it in Game 5. You've got to beat Daniel at some point in order to qualify for the LAN directly.
And that is a position that nobody wants to find themselves in, as Daniel takes his time. Getting confirmation as well with the players. Nobody overly surprised at who has entered the field off the pinch. Just something to think about. Something that you wanted to really set up early in a game of 2s, make sure that that player that is a little bit further back on the defensive side is going to sit a little deeper, force them to respect what you can do. Once you do establish that respect, you can set up a little bit more, as it now becomes to chase down Rettles. Oh, tried to play for the block, but Gyro understood the situation he was in, took it the other side.
Yeah, both players playing very well there. Rettles understanding that there's no point lunging at a play that isn't actually going to happen, and Gyro knowing that he can just casually take the ball to the back corner with no danger of being challenged. Now Rettles getting past one, but the positioning so far from Rogue has been exceptional. They're following up at each other's plays very well. Now Gyro, knowing he's the only line of defense for the time being, goes for the fake challenge. That gives Aqua time to respawn, recover, and Rettles has missed the overhead, but the ball was over the bar.
Yeah, Rettel very happy to see the woodwork come and help him out. No goals scored here, just over a minute and 20 played. As Gyro takes his time, realized that Rettles will come and bump him. So maybe expect a couple of awkward plays as well from sort of Rogue. They will understand that. That bump is always on the way as... Johnny, I feel like I've seen what you've seen, but I don't want to confirm it. Yeah.
Oh no, Gyro, he turned on ball cam. He was looking at the play. He wasn't looking at what was in front of him. What was in front of him was an Aqua who was more than ready to make a save. To be honest, I think either one of them would have been able to make contact there.
It was one of those situations where anything but that.
Yeah, if either one of them goes, great. But if both go, oh dear. Aqua trying to double. It's an own goal for Rettles. We've got imposters at both ends.
Oh, and Arsenal's definitely telling him about it at the moment. Aqua slows down the play, forces the panic, and just him being there forces Rettles to go so much earlier than he was comfortable with, puts it into his own net. And the Johnny Boy giggles always tell you how funny a play certainly was. If you are new, by the way, to a Rocket League and want to know if a play was a misplay or a good play, just listen to Johnny. He will definitely inform you.
Yeah, I got to enjoy that one once in live, then of course in the in-game replay, then I look over at the stream to watch it again, and a third time it's great to be able to watch those back multiple times. But Rettles immediately redeems himself. The top corner shot off a good kickoff. They've gone for the cheat and made it work. Rogue gonna have to do some defending immediately after this kickoff as well. Daniel flicks to the top corner. Aqua's there for it, and crucially, lands on the back wall to keep control of the ball.
Really good thing for Daniel as well is how much boost he managed to get out of both players, not just one. As he continues to maintain control, jumping around, fakes out the first challenge. Rettles chooses not to go in. Sort of loitering over the 100 boost that didn't turn up for him. This is what Daniel's going to do so well. Off the blind spot, constantly just swipe away at the ball. Now Aqua's turn. Wipes out one player. And Gyro, I would say, displeased with the power that ball was heading to his own side of the field. Couldn't follow it up. He's now up against two players. Daniel tried to dive on in. Aqua can't skate by without a bump. And you can see now Rogue are going for the more low percentage plays. They've got to dive in. They've got to take more risks and maybe leave themselves a little bit more exposed to a potential counterattack.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult to get one past SSG. Rettles has own goal, their only goal of the game so far, but when it comes to getting the ball past both Rettles and Daniel in the midfield, quite difficult to do that because they're not leaving gaps. And Daniel finds one. 3-1. SSG running away with the series.
Just nobody there. Nobody ready for it. A bit of miscommunication, low boost, either way. Yeah, it was Gyro. He was at the back. No boost at all. Couldn't get over to that one. And it's that little split second where something is wrong and it will catch you out. I do like the mix-up, though, from Rogue. They've got to get plays going. Rettles is avoiding all of the bumps and calmly dispatches the shot.
Yeah, we saw that exact play working in Complexity versus Little Step Bros earlier on. That is something Rettles is very aware of, and he knew that he just had to buy time for Daniel to come back and help him, something that both Daniel and Rettles have done phenomenally well in this matchup. They're not lunging in when they're last man. They're just taking their time, just staying goal side and buying time for their opponent, or rather for their teammate, to come back and help them. And it's also the same whenever the second man is, or rather the first man is challenging. They're not diving in unless follow-up is right behind them.
I like the ideas that I've seen from Rogue. There's a lot of sending the first player the ball and then faking it out and trying to bump the keeper, but it's just not worked. The players on the goal line have been far too slippery, as that is going to potentially shut down this game. SSG, far too good when they see even a slight look at the goal.
Clinical. They have been clinical. Rettles even clinical in his own net in this series, as they've scored 5 goals now. 4-1 lead, however. Rogue do still have an outside chance, though. They've been cheeky with the kickoffs, decide not to be on this occasion. With how volatile kickoffs can be, you can't let your guard down even with a 3-goal lead. And just a minute left in the clock. There's a chance. Daniel all over it. There might actually be another chance for SSG on the other end. Rettles shoots immediately. It's off target. Aqua has to move quickly here as Rettles comes in behind him. Takes him out to play.
Yeah, you won't see assists like that later on in the ones game, which is coming up after this, but I'm sure Daniel appreciated the support. Not the best clear there, actually, from Rettles, and he's put himself in a bad spot, actually. Daniel was all the way down the other side of the field. Again, just the execution, it's been completely different between these two teams. One of them has had brilliant ideas and just could not get them to come off. And the other one is just creating chances from nothing as Daniel, he knows he's got another 5 minutes ahead of him in the ones. Might as well shove some flair before you head over.
What is this shot from Daniel? He just flipped upside down and scored. I don't know how he got an arc on this, but he scored it to the top shelf from almost a dead ball. That was ridiculous how he created an arc out of this.
I almost expect a play like that to only go up there if they get a pinch or something, but instead underneath it. Just like Rogar, underneath a lot of pressure. Daniel, one more, why not? Aqua's the only one back, wiped out by one. If you want an explanation as to how you expect to see Space Station play, this is what you show somebody. Brutal by Space Station.
And now they've got to beat Daniel when you have no help, all by yourself. How on earth are they supposed to do that? 1v1 guaranteed for game number 3, and SSG already lead by 2. Daniel with a couple of worldies at the end of the game there, but mostly that goal for 5-1. I think that was absolutely stunning from Daniel.
And now you've got to beat Daniel. That's it. It's as simple as that. You might hit him twice, although maybe a win here might dissuade Space Station from going back into that well. But the Space Station just looked dominant everywhere right now. And of the two talismans, Daniel is the one that is on form. And you can see why this was the team put together for the twos games. I mean, you're just hoping for a pop-off here. You need whoever you send into this ones to be playing the Rocket League of their lives and to hope that continues for 10 more minutes afterwards.
You know, if they can get one win against Daniel, that's great. But then, you know, Space Station have won the 3v3 and the 2v2 as well. So they'd have to do
pretty
that
confidently
right
as
afterwards.
Well.
Yeah. So it's so hard to imagine. I mean, beating Daniel once that would already be so impressive. But to beat him again later on when inevitably SSG, well, I say inevitably, they just won the 2v2 6-1. Maybe they're just going to run back twos. But honestly, I think the smartest thing for SSG to do at this point would be to, even if Daniel loses the 1v1 here, run it back in game 5, because he has got such a consistent level in 1v1. But who knows? If Aqua can just pop off here, and it is going to be Aqua, I think this is the correct pick for Rogue. They ran with Taroko in the previous round. It's Aqua right now. He is the player with the highest pop-off potential in this Rogue roster, and he needs every ounce of it in order to have a chance in this matchup.
Yeah, Daniel earlier on taken to the brink in his ones matchup, but it was also ones matchup that didn't look like he was fully serious for at times. Now you get to see what Daniel is capable of.
Daniel wins the boost race. Aqua only able to grab a small pad 12. Not enough to defend against Daniel, who mind games him and goes up in a 1-goal lead already, 11 seconds. But don't write off Aqua. You know, we saw Daniel, you know, making a few misplays earlier on. He is definitely one of the best 1v1 players in North America, even in the world. But Aqua is up there. This guy has done incredible things in ones in the past as well. Let's see what he can do.
Daniel's got all of the control to start us off. He's taking his time. He's making Aqua think. And unfortunately, Daniel just thinks far too far ahead.
Yeah, making it difficult for him. Calls the bluff on the fake challenge. Pops it over the top of Aqua. And even if Daniel overhits this into the bar, he knows he has full control. He knows he can just steal the boost in the back corner, continue attacking. And luckily for Daniel, his accuracy is so good that he doesn't even have to think about plan B. Plan A successful. And he takes another possession off a strong kickoff to maybe even go up by 3. Flip reset for Daniel. And the chip into the ball, into the net will do it. And Rogue's upper bracket run is crumbling before our eyes.
Yeah, it's a hat-trick of different styles as goal as well for Daniel. He's beat him in the play off the kickoff. He's beat him in the mind games, and now he's just shown those mechanics. Daniel is showing that there is very little way for Aqua to try and outplay him.
Okay, that's a start. He goes for
that's much better.
Yeah, wave dash recovery kickoff. That's really smart to do if you're losing the standard kickoff. So Aqua making something happen here, but Daniel still turn it around.
Quadruple.
Yeah, 4 goals.
I can beat you defending as well.
even if Aqua manages to get into a possession play, manages to make it to midfield back and forth, you still have to get the ball past Daniel, who's one of the best goalkeepers in the world, as well as being unreal in offense.
And Daniel's one of those players that you think you've beat him, you think that the goal is assured, and not only does he save it, he recovers before you, and you've just scored against you. As that one is the height of the crossbar, we found something that can stop Daniel. Over to the corner, and Daniel's just taking his time. He does not trust the pace of Aqua, although Daniel had a bit of an argument with the floor, and thankfully for him, the post is going to come to his rescue.
Yeah, Aqua nearly snuck one in there. He managed to catch Daniel off the goal line, something that's rare to see. Daniel's just fully controlling the boost this entire time. He knows exactly how much boost Aqua's got, close enough to, if you asked him to guess, I think he'd get it within 10 that entire time. He's just been managing where this game is going to be played, and he slots one of the safest shots that you're going to see all day.
This is the K-Dop special, if there ever was one. Just set up, all right, you're nowhere near me. This is all good, I can send this wherever I want to. For those of you aspiring ones players out there, that's pretty much where I'd say to start, if anywhere.
Oh,
get that play done. You're going to score that 9 times out of 10, as long as you are all good to go there. A lot more than a flip reset that's ever going to get you.
Yeah, such a high percentage play from Daniel. It's forcing, you know, a lot of players are conceding there, even Aqua in this position. It looks like such a simple shot for Daniel because he's setting up such a huge angle and a huge run-up into the ball with an angle change as well. But if you look at that from the goalkeeper perspective, the ball just rockets towards your net at a ridiculous rate of knots. So even if you do get a save on it, you're probably forced into your own goal, probably forced into a bad recovery, and you probably have to say goodbye to your back corner boost because Daniel's hoovering all the boosts up right now. He's taking the mid, taking his own back corner. Aqua trying to find the small pads so he can just keep up to pace here.
And even if you do get a good challenge, as that's the crossbar again, Daniel, he's just flinging himself around.
Full control.
Oh my goodness, exactly Daniel! That was so cheeky.
He just doesn't give Aqua a 50-50. All Aqua wants here is a 50-50, but Daniel sneaks in, and he doesn't even flip into the ball, just chips it past him. And at this entire play, this entire back and forth, Daniel has put Aqua in awkward positions. He's kept his boost number low, so there's nothing Aqua can do.
6-0, 2.5 minutes. It would be a disservice if we were to say that this game is over, because, well, we've seen enough ones where leads are never really all that safe. But with the way Daniel's playing, I think the majority of this tournament needs to be happy that this will be the last time he gets to play today. And he might cool down a little bit between now and tomorrow, because this form of Daniel, you're not touching it.
Yeah, this is insane. I mean, the biggest competitive comeback I've ever seen in 1v1 was a 7-goal comeback. So we need to equal the biggest comeback of all time in order for Aqua to...
Ironically, I've thrown away that sort of lead as well, so hey.
Oh, here we go. It all starts to the kickoff goal. Aqua's managed it, so first step. And the problem for Aqua, and the reason I really don't think a comeback is going to happen right now, is that Daniel is crushing the kickoffs. Daniel has been so mechanically on point with his kickoffs today. We saw 1 goal there for Aqua, but it's so hard to imagine.
You're not doing that multiple times.
Yeah, never mind goals. Forget even possessions against Daniel's kickoff 6 times in a row.
Oh, we tried, though. I do like the idea that Aqua... You don't see players double up all that often. It's usually they consider it a bit too obvious. Daniel... Oh. I mean, what do you say? That was horrible.
He's absolutely brutalizing Aqua at the moment as he just rolls the ball underneath him. Aqua expecting a high pop there. He thinks Daniel's going to chip it into the top shelf. No, Daniel rolls it under him. And that's another 7-goal lead, but a different scoreline. Arsenal's actually just left him.
He knows.
He's probably just signed up for the day and thought, yep, I've seen all I need to see.
10 minutes of gameplay for Arsenal, and he's through to the upper finals. Should things stay as they are, no real reason to think that they won't. Aqua, his only goal coming off a delayed kickoff. As for Daniel, he has just showcased everything that makes him so great in ones. And I think this is also a great opportunity for him because there's so many people that have maybe only watched RLCS Freeze. They've heard us talk so much about how good Daniel is in these sort of positions. Finally getting the chance to see Daniel in his natural habitat. Yeah, he's as good as we hyped him up to be, if not then some.
Not a bad play there from Aqua. Daniel not getting it back for it. Well played from Aqua. He tried to go for a fake underneath Daniel, who reacted to it, but reversed right back into position. And it's rare that you see any kind of reversing in Rocket League lead to a good play, but that's exactly what Aqua had to do to pull the shots off. And, you know, it isn't really a comeback that's likely, but Aqua Gonna try and grind out as many goals as he can here. Just see what happens, because this is great practice for him. He'll have to play 1v1 later on in the tournament, I imagine, as it does not end here for them. This is just the upper bracket semi-final. You go down.
He's already got to play again today.
Yeah, you need to win the next round. They'll be in the lower bracket round 2 after this, and if they lose that, they are out. So they'll have to play for the LAN qualification again. They're clearly going to be losing this one. It's interesting to see what Aqua tries to experiment with. I think the main weakness that I've noticed from him is a lack of reliable kickoff diversity. And against a player like Daniel, you need to have so many kickoffs at your disposal if you're going to throw him off, which Aqua wasn't able to do. I think maybe just throwing in a couple of half flips on the diagonal, maybe just even a fake kickoff, the one that we saw, which didn't work. The fact that it didn't work doesn't mean it's a bad idea. He has to keep mixing it up, because going back to the standard kickoff time and time again, when you're losing them, it's not a good idea.
Well, for Aqua as well, if he is going to potentially play, I believe that lower bracket match will be between the winner of Little Step Bros and Sonic. So with the way that they played earlier on, that would either be T Corral, or it would be, as I get my stuff up over here, T Corral or Alpha Cap. How did I manage to forget Alpha Cap? He was something else. And we saw him earlier on, as Daniel's also been so. So those are two difficult matchups. I feel like one of those, I'd put him as a bit more of a favorite than the other. But either way, you've got to get something rolling for yourself before you head over to that matchup.
I really think that Rogue would fancy their chances against Sonics, because that's a team who don't have as much experience in 1v1. The only 1v1 they played today, they lost it, whereas Little Set Bros have played 2 1v1s, so they won 1, lost 1. So if you're thinking about a future matchup there, you'd probably rather play Sonics. I think Rogue would fancy their chances in every single game mode in that matchup, whereas Little Set Bros, that's a bit more tricky. Alpha Cap, I think, clearly the better 1v1 player, so it's hard to beat. We saw Razebull do it though. He's not unbeatable. He's not on the Daniel level, but we'll have to wait and see, as that match is still to come up later in the lower bracket. We do have Xset All Mid in the lower bracket. All Mid have actually taken the 1v1 there. Both teams, by the way, have got a 1v1 main subbing in, Chronic versus Cam there. And interestingly enough, they played a 1v1 in game 2 there, and the finishing score was 3-2.